Welcome, Protege. So far we've ran all of our commands in the command window, but you really want to write everything in what's called a script. That way you can save and edit your code with ease without having to retype everything. In this script, we're going to combine everything that we've learned thus far. And there are two main ways to create a script. One of the ways is to click New Script in the top left, or you can do it in the command line. Give your script a name. I'll just call it my first script, and then append .m. MATLAB will then say that it doesn't exist, and it will ask you if you want to create it. Click yes here. And it brings up our scripting window. And now we can start typing our variables, our matrices, doing different commands, things like that. Just like we've done in the command window. At the top of every script, I like to add two commands, clear and CLC. And clear gets rid of the variables and matrices in your workspace. And CLC clears your command window. One of the nice things about writing MATLAB scripts is you don't have to add the include files that you would usually add to your C or C++ code. And for comments in MATLAB, you use the percentage symbol. On that same note, you want to try to add comments anywhere possible, because if you share your code with someone else, they will thank you. Also, when you come back a year later, you won't be like, what exactly was I trying to do here again? So it's almost imperative that you add comments as much as you can. I also like to add these header lines where you declare your variables or matrices. I also have a header for your main body where you're actually performing the algorithm. Under the variable declaration section, I'm going to set a few variables and create a few matrices. So I declared two variables A and B and three matrices M, N, and Z. Next, I'm just going to add a directory to our path and then do an IM read on an image. And that's it for our variables and matrices declaration. Then under our main body, this is where we want to start doing some calculations. And I'm just going to do a simple calculation to find the hypotenuse. We want to use the Pythagorean theorem. And that function is c squared equals a squared plus b squared, or c equals square root of a squared plus b squared. I'm going to perform matrix multiplication, and recall that putting the dot here along with your operator means that we want to do the element-wise multiplication. Also, don't forget your comments. Then I'm going to find the maximum and minimum value. Find the maximum of m and the minimum value of n. That takes care of the calculations we want to do on our variables and matrices. So next I'm going to do some processing on our image that we imported. I'm going to use a function called Histogram, which calculates the frequency of each light intensity in the image. And we pass in the image I, since we read the tools image into our variable I. And this histogram function outputs a plot. And remember to always give your plots a title and X and Y labels at the very least. And that's all we're going to do for this script. Once you finish, you want to go ahead and run it by hitting this play button at the top. It outputs our plot for the histogram of the image. So again, that calculates the frequency of each intensity value. And it also performs our calculations that we did with our variables and matrices. So recall that C was our hypotenuse that we got from A and B. We found the max and min values of some matrices. We did matrix multiplication on M and N. And in later tutorials, we'll go over how to use breakpoints. So essentially, just click on these little dashes next to the line number, and it will put a dot there. And when you go run your script, it will stop at that point. You can also have different sections in your code. And to declare different sections, you use 2 percentage signs. And notice that this is all one section right here. So say we want to have a section with just our variables and matrix declaration and a section for this main body. To do that, you simply add another set of percentage symbols here. And we now have 2 sections. And you can run those individually by clicking on the section that you want to run and then hit the Run Section button. And I'll have a tutorial on that later. To recap what we've done in this video, we introduced you to scripts, which is where you really want to run all of your commands, because it will save your code, and if you have to come back and modify it, you can do so easily. If you don't do that, you have to keep typing in all of this all over again in the command window, which will start to become very tedious. We expressed the importance of adding comments to your code, and we showed you how to add different sections that you can run. That's it for this tutorial. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe below or leave a question or comment.